Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
For example, when gas was at 99 cents a gallon, should we have taken that opportunity to say it's cheaper than it's been adjusted for inflation?
Right. Jump it out of his
No, it's an excellent
careful.
question, and you happen to have touched on one of my favorite subjects, and you're going to trigger. You don't realize it, but you've triggered a 15-minute speech.
Should I get out my notepad?
No. Here you've got a country with a chronic budget deficit, huge national debt, no health care, a crumbling highway infrastructure, no mass transport system, and only has 18 cents federal tax on a gallon of gasoline. Every other country has several dollars of federal taxation on a gallon of gasoline. So we were living in this, frankly, fool's paradise of cheap fuel, which has, I think, done harm to the country in a number of ways. It's permitted our infrastructure to go downhill because we're not raising enough money to keep it up to date. And our roads now are among the poorest in the world, sad to say. No, they are. They really are.
I can vouch for that, too.
Upstate New York.
I was going to say, go to the Cross Bronx Expressway.
One of the reasons for popularity of SUVs is because of the condition of the roads. But at any rate, it's also resulted in urban sprawl because, hey, one may as well go another 20 minutes out into the countryside. I can live in a single-family ranch home, whereas in Europe, at expensive fuel, everybody lives much closer to the city. People tend to live in condos that are vertically stacked to where the commute is much less. And we keep going farther and farther out to where, finally Detroit blends into Ann Arbor. Ann Arbor's going to blend into Jackson. Jackson's going to blend into Chicago. And finally it'll be one solid development from all through the Midwest.
Sea to shining sea.
Yeah, from sea to shining sea is sea to shining sea, half-acre, one-family ranch homes where everybody has an hour and a half commute to work. I mean, it's insane. So, starting about the 1970s, I started going to Washington and saying, have we, you guys keep talking about improving the fuel economy of the American fleet. Have you gentlemen considered a federal fuel tax increase? Oh my God, are you kidding? This is ridiculous. We can't do that. We'll be voted out of office. Well, somehow in Europe, they seem to get it done. And a lot of things in Europe are funded through a federal fuel tax, and that's why they have a fleet that is so much smaller than ours, because people willingly select small cars.
The problem with living in Europe, though, is there's no American cars there. I mean, there's
That's
specific enthusiasm issues, and it's like, what's even the point?
Oh, you are such a tease.
And speaking of that, you're an enthusiast. You've got a Chrysler 500 in your garage. Like, that's great. What else do you have in your garage?
I have all kinds of good stuff, but let me finish this subject.
I understand, but I don't mean to be steering the discussion away from fuel prices.
Okay.
But
Well, that's kind of you. Did he put you up to it?
Well, couldn't you do it based on vehicle weight instead? I mean, that's one of the ideas that I've been a big fan of, because when I look at the roads here.
But meanwhile, the feds are, pushing up the weight.
But that's true. But that is, I mean, you could, if you push up the weight, you push down the amount per weight that you pay. But the nice thing about a per weight tax is that, the SUV that gets 100 miles a gallon is still causing the same amount of damage to the roads than the SUV that gets 10 miles a gallon. To the roads we're talking about.
Well, what do you want to do? Keep the roads in good shape, or
I want to keep the roads. I want to keep the roads in good
CO2?
shape, and by convincing people that they don't need the heaviest car on the road via these sorts of taxes that are based on weight, I think we can make that happen.
But you can do that by essentially, gas tax actually, weight is one thing, but really it's the delta between most of the sedans and most of the SUVs in terms of damaging the roads is pretty minimal. I mean, you're talking.
I don't know, because the SUVs are the ones with the set of tires and all the other stuff.
It's not. No,
the big
it's not. Actually,
No, you have to look at- you have to look at
statistically, the
pounds per
sedans
square
have
inch.
more.
And with
the
the
big
wide
trucks.
tires, the pounds per square inch,
Yeah.
the SUV may be loading the roads less than,
Right.
than a small passenger car with narrow tires.
And unfortunately,
But-
SUVs don't
But
actually.
frankly,
That's
frankly,
right.
frankly, if you did it on fuel consumption,
Yeah.
you would be driving the weight at the same time.
Right.
Because people would be trying to take weight out in order to get better fuel economy.
Right. I was just thinking, and that's just one way around the gas tax. When you go and renew your tabs each year, you could very easily do it by weight and kind of hide the
You
tax.
can't,
Like
but I
you
don't
would
know
get
that.
waived when you went in to get your tabs.
You mean
Exactly.
you mean
Might as well do it by
prevent your
color,
car
because
gaining
that's-
weight during the
Now
year?
you get you step on the scale, they figure out how much weight you're putting in your car.
Well, whenever you get that
Change
emissions
the
test, you know, it's
The
very easy to weigh a car.
The easiest way to get rid of weight is to go on a diet. You know, when racers go and strip everything out of their car, the easiest way is to reduce the weight of the driver, because at some point all the cars.
But if you're talking about a 5,000.
So now we gotta get rid of heavy people.
Speaking
Yeah.
of race
Well,
drivers,
I mean,
how are you
yeah,
feeling
you
about
are.
the NASCAR program?
You know, a lot of people are. For
How are
people
you
who
feeling
drive
about your guys' NASCAR
larger
program?
cars, you can take off 60 pounds.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
a lot easier to
Dale
take off,
Jr. just
The problem is that we were going in the
Michigan,
opposite
we were